Tough, do I look like I'm in control? Well, Jane's next guest is a man who thinks that you can have a lot to say about what you think with body language, and he's going to show us how now.
To be an expert, to know that one of the most serious problems in our schools today is the lack of discipline. Our guest today is an expert in discipline. In fact, he can teach teachers how to keep control of their own classrooms. He's Dr. Frederick Jones, a professor of psychiatry and psychology at the University of Rochester Medical Center. Dr. Jones, in my past, included a few weeks as a substitute teacher, and I could tell, walking into a classroom immediately, which absent teacher was under control and which was accustomed to chaos, and the children didn't make the difference. They could be well behaved in one room, walk into another classroom and act up. The teacher made the difference.
Absolutely. We've observed the same thing repeatedly. In fact, had children jumping off of shelves in 1 hour and sitting and doing work during the next period.
Well, how do you explain that?
The skills of the teacher and the procedures that the teacher uses in setting limits and in building in incentives for good behavior and for work. And it's not something you're born with. It's something that can be learned. It can be taught.
How do you teach it?
Well, there are a variety of methods, and when we train teachers, we'll train them in a variety of methods so that they can pick the one that suits their kids and their personality the best. One, and perhaps the simplest at the elementary level, would be the use of body language. And the most important part of body language is simple physical proximity. So if I'm over here helping a child with work, and say you and your invisible neighbor there start to talk, I would first catch it early, turn around and say, Jane, and if you continue to talk, move in.
At this point, I'm beginning to be intimidated.
Most kids disrupt for cheap. They're not in it for a confrontation. They're in it just for some enjoyment, some talk to their neighbor. So here, most, certainly elementary and a great many secondary level kids will stop. If not, I simply increase physical proximity and wait.
And at this point, I'm very, very embarrassed, for one thing, so I act up a little more to show my peers that I'm not intimidated.
And if you do, I simply move a little closer, and particularly if you continue to talk as though I'm not here, I simply move in between you.
We don't need to mention you're over 6 feet tall. Say I'm a teacher at 5'2". That wouldn't be quite as effective, would it? My body, 5'2" body, is not going to say have the same language that yours is.
Our data shows it makes no difference. We've trained 98-pound junior high teachers to get similar results.
Are some teachers reluctant to use their bodies in that way? They maybe would stop a little earlier?
Most people are, because most people the first time through feel like they're sticking their neck out a little bit. And so when we train teachers, we don't talk about how to do it. We role play it and practice it over and over again. And when you've been coached through these motions, then you're comfortable enough to actually do it in the classroom.
You're talking about an elementary classroom situation. Let's put it into junior high and high school, where the children don't look like children anymore. They look like adults, and they, in some serious cases, may well be armed. Now, how does a teacher deal with a really serious discipline problem like that?
Well, I would never recommend that a teacher go beyond the limits that their own good sense would dictate in a situation. And there are other methods to rely on. The primary one being an incentive system. An incentive system is simply a set of rewards whereby if children finish their work or behave appropriately, then they get privileges, preferred activities, special learning opportunities. One of the simplest systems we've developed, which is good in special classrooms with multiply handicapped or elementary and secondary, uses a little piece of equipment, stopwatch. And all incentive systems have 3 parts: simply a task and a reward, and then a system for keeping track of whether you met the conditions of the agreement. So let's say that I'm trying to help a child over here, the same situation, and you start to talk to your neighbors. Now, we've agreed that when the class has given me 30 minutes of good work, you might be doing seat work of some kind, then we'll begin a preferred activity. It can be a learning-related activity. It can be access to learning centers or anything of the kind.
Something fun.
Or just something fun, right. And so I'll start the watch, and when we get 30 minutes on the watch, we start. Now, I'm here helping someone. You start to talk. I turn around and say, Jane.
And the watch is running.
The watch is running.
Who is paying? Am I paying or all of us?
Everyone.
So I'm not particularly popular among my classmates, as long as that watch is running.
Not terribly. But ironically, in classrooms, this kind of system, which uses peer pressure, eliminates about 80% of negative peer feedback. The reason probably being that a minority of the kids cause most of the hassles, most of the provocations, and most of the disruptions, and are unpopular because of it. And when we eliminate their misbehavior, we eliminate the reason that the kids get on them.
Dr. Jones, you are a professor. Have you ever tried out these theories in real life?
Oh, we've been training teachers for 5, 6, 7 years now.
And under what circumstances have you personally used it with success?
We've trained teachers for multiply handicapped preschoolers, junior high, high school, regular classrooms, special classrooms, ghetto classrooms. Really
should it be part of a regular college curriculum? A teacher comes out of a college with a bachelor's degree and yet no training specifically in discipline. Do you think that ought to be part of the curriculum?
Oh, yes. Teachers have told me repeatedly that they're bitter, that when they got out on the job and had 30 kids with all of their different wants to deal with simultaneously, that they were awash and weren't prepared to manage a group of children. And quite often when they went back and asked their professors, they were told something like, you'll learn it on the job.
Is it measurable?
Oh, yes.
To correlate discipline with achievement in school?
The correlation is modest. We will always train teachers with improved instructional skills that dovetail with these discipline skills and with the motivation systems. And with the entire training procedure, we'll typically eliminate between 80–95% of disruptions in the classroom, including special classrooms, and double the productivity of the bottom half of a regular classroom or the entire classroom in a special classroom.
Dr. Frederick Jones, thank you for your wise words on discipline this morning.
Thank you.
Dr. Jones, a consulting psychologist, now practicing in California, in Santa Cruz, in private practice. Coming up in our next half hour here on the Today program, Jane will be talking with a remarkably gifted woman, Joan Walsh Anglin, children's writer and illustrator, and you'll recognize many of her works. And then from California, Kelly Lang talks with Leslie Ann Warren, one of the stars of the made-for-television movie Betrayal. It airs, not unexpectedly, on NBC tonight. First, a station break.